one more video until free agency. Let's talk about the NFC West. Alright, let's start off with the Arizona Cardinals and their first overall pick. What are they going to do with that first overall pick? Are they going to take the best player in the draft, which is Nick Bosa? Or could they take Kyler Murray and trade Josh Rosen? Now, they have a lot of needs because this is a team that is going to be rebuilding for the next few years. But it's going to start off with offensive linemen. They've got to protect whoever's playing quarterback and open up holes for David Johnson. They need to build that receiving core because Larry Fitzgerald, this might be his last year. They don't really have anybody else. And corner. They could possibly trade Patrick Peterson. So get some more corners. Now, they do have $39 million in cap space, so they can get a few starters in free agency, but don't go too overboard with it. And their top guy is Deon Buchanan. They drafted him in the first round, and they moved into linebacker really quickly. He's done all right for them, but will they move on so that they can rebuild this a little more? And one more thing. David Johnson. David Johnson, he's gotten hurt a few times, and last year was not what we expected. We expected him to come back from that injury and have a great season. That didn't happen. With him now a year off from that injury, can he get back to what he was just a few years ago? Last year, the Rams went all in for Super Bowl appearance. They got there, but they couldn't finish the deal. This year, they have some decisions to make with their top free agents. Ndamukong Suh, LaMarcus Joyner, and Dante Fowler are just a few of those free agents. So now they have to figure out who they're going to keep and who they're going to let walk. And they do have $35 million, so they could sign a few guys, but they really shouldn't go overboard with it. Also, they have the 31st overall pick, and their needs are mainly on the defensive side of the ball. So, even though they're picking 31st, they can still get maybe a top 25 or even a top 20 guy who just falls because this draft is so defensive heavy. Now, their top needs are edge rusher. He got Dante Fowler because they really didn't have that edge rusher that could take the pressure off of Aaron Donald. Defensive tackle and defensive back. Now, their starters are really good, but they don't really have depth behind them. This is just for them to get depth, that in case somebody does get hurt, they can handle it. Just a few things. Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley, we don't know what was going on with him during the playoffs, but hopefully he can get over that and still be one of the top running backs in the league. And can this team avoid the Super Bowl runner-up curse? It seems like whoever has been the Super Bowl runner-up lately, they haven't done well the year after. Now, the Patriots did get back to the Super Bowl, but however, other teams just have not been able to do as well as they did the year before. San Francisco's biggest concern this offseason is the health of Jimmy Garoppolo. If he's healthy 100% when week 1 starts, they could be in for a great season. Now, since Garoppolo is their quarterback, that makes the second overall pick just a best player available type thing. And if Nick Bosa is there, and if he's there at number 2, they're probably just going to jump to that podium with his name on that card. Because edge rusher is their biggest need. And with the top player in this draft being an edge rusher, that'd be perfect for San Francisco. Now, they also need some DBs to help take away the number 1 receivers and a few wide receivers to help out Garoppolo. And with $68 million, they can sign a few guys. And I can't wait to see how they continue to build this team. They're doing a good job so far. So how are they going to continue it? What type of players are they going to bring in to help compete for that ultimate prize? And finally, Seattle Seahawks, the last team of the State of series. Seattle's had a lot of turnover the past few years. Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Michael Bennett are all gone, and Earl Thomas is about to be gone. The last piece of the Legion of Boom. And even though they franchised Frank Clark, they need to get him somebody that's going to help him out and take pressure off of him. They also need some offensive linemen to help keep Russell Wilson upright and open up running lanes, and they could use some defensive tackles. And they have $33 million, so they can sign a few guys, but just don't go overboard with it. And with 21st overall pick, stop me if you heard this before, they can get a pretty good defensive player because it's a defensive-heavy draft. And a few more things. One, how good is the running game going to be this year? Can Seattle find a consistent running game again? Can they win the West again? With Arizona and San Francisco still building, and with the Rams probably having some turnover of their own, do the Seahawks have enough in them to win the West? And I want to see how this defense does. This defense, like I mentioned, has had a lot of turnover. Can they be one of the best defenses in the league again? Alright guys, that was the last video of the State of series. And I really don't know what I'm going to do next. You guys know when I know. See you then.